I feel like every manufacturer has one or sometimes more coasters that stand out above everything else they've created. Maybe not your favorite of their work, but the objective best, their Magnum Opus. A manufacturer's Magnum Opus is their perfect creation, from representing the company to truly being world-class and an overall perfect creation. Most manufacturers have that Magnum Opus, the ride that represents their company in a way no other does. And that's why today, I'm going to go over all major manufacturers' Magnum Opus, and at the very end do a quick prediction ranking, as I haven't been on everything on the list. Lastly, before I begin, just know our opinions will likely vary from one to another, so feel free to comment down below which rides you think deserve to be chosen. With that being said, let's begin. Starting off with a company that was really tough for me to figure out, Mack rides. I've been debating between Ride to Happiness for its unique nature, potent ejector, and overall good pacing, Voltron Nevera for its insane length, wild ejector, and amazing restraints, and then Stardust Racers at Universal's Epic Universe for its insane ejector, unique and brilliant design layout, and yet again, its insane length. Between the three, it is such an unbelievably tough decision to make, but after a bit of thinking, the objective perfect Mack coaster is Stardust Racers. This coaster is just out of this world. No, dumb joke, yeah, my bad. Anyway, it shows what Mack have become, going from the weakest launches in the industry to creating launches beyond that of Intamin. Plus, it has that classic Mack ejector which genuinely hits just as hard as RMC Airtime. Stardust Racers is just something special. Overall, in my eyes, it's a perfect coaster and is actually my personal favorite roller coaster in all of America. Next up is an even bigger and even harder decision, RMC. And I know, I've already made a video titled, Why Wildcat's Revenge is RMC's Magnum Opus, or something like that. And I honestly don't even want to take the time to look back at that mess of a video, which doesn't even apply to what I think anymore. I just made that video because for some reason Wildcat's Revenge just started standing out for like a week, and then after that week, it went back into blending in with the rest of the RMCs, and not particularly Magnum Opus level. So with that little blabble out of the way, what is RMC's actual Magnum Opus? Well, it's the one and only Hakuge at Nagashima Spa Land in Japan. It pains me not to say Untamed, which has been my top bucket list RMC since riding Twisted Cyclone around 4 months ago. But if I'm being truly honest, Hakuge is the most objectively perfect coaster in RMC's lineup. It has the insane RMC ejector, amazing inversions with the classic stall, it's a very long ride, and it has terrible operations, perfectly representing RMC. Overall, the reason I picked Hakuge over rides like Zadra is its length. Well, what about Iron Gwazi, you ask? And to that, I have to say, it's longer yet again, has a better setting, and it has more straight ejector. Well, you forgot Steve. Well, not exactly, as Hakuge is much closer to being perfect than that too. And that is because of variety, something that Steel Vengeance isn't exactly a good representation of. So that's why I chose Hakuge as RMC's current Magnum Opus. Quick note by me, I forgot Air Force 1, and that is a good argument, but I think Hakuge's length helps it beat out Air Force by a little as well. Anyway, let's move on to the next manufacturer. Great Coasters International, my absolute GOAT. They build the most aggressive and punchy wooden coasters in the world, and I will stand by that. They are the Intamin blitzes of wooden coasters, and wow, I love them so much. And find a lot of their coasters quite underrated, the two total I've been on. But that's besides the point. We need to figure out their Magnum Opus, and this was the easiest decision of my life. I went with a coaster that would by far be the top of my bucket list if it wasn't in China. Python and Bamboo Forest. Wow, this ride just looks like something from a different dimension. Everything about it is just perfect. The terrain interaction is done insanely well. The layout is long. It looks lateral packed. And the ride looks pretty rough overall, which I love as a huge Gold Striker fan myself. Not only do I think Python looks like GCI's Magnum Opus, no, not just that. I think it's the Magnum Opus of all wooden coasters around the world, except arguably one coming later in this video. Also, before moving on, the reason I think this ride looks better than Wood Coaster at Night Valley is because that ride slows down quite a considerable amount later in the layout, but it still looks world class. Anyway, now we can move on. The Comeback Kid, the king of potential and one of the current hottest manufacturers in town. It's Vekoma. Wow, what can you say about Vekoma? Their comeback story is genuinely unbelievable. They were the manufacturer known for making the roughest rides out there and just being terrible. But now, above almost any other manufacturer, people are shocked if a new-gen Vekoma isn't glass smooth. That is just amazing to me. But we need to find their Magnum Opus. If we go through their humongous list of coasters, we'll find a couple great ones scattered throughout. Like Coaster, I think that's how you pronounce it, I don't know. Fly, Cosmic Rewind, Abyssus, Siren's Curse, the list goes on. All of these look amazing, but one to me just looks a step above. This was probably predictable, but my choice was Fly at Phantasialand in Brohl, Germany. This ride looks truly special and like nothing else we've ever seen. A flying coaster that isn't trying to destroy your brain and throw it into a garbage bin. Instead, a flying coaster that truly gives you the sensation that flying would give, at least according to the people who I've seen talk about this ride. Another thing about Fly that can't go unnoticed is the absolutely insane theming. It shows the brilliance of the designers at Vekoma being able to fit this quite long roller coaster into this small land with buildings everywhere. It's a true testament to Vekoma's genius layouts. Overall, this ride is nothing short of perfect. There doesn't seem to be a direct flaw with this coaster. Everything about it is at least done at a decent level, but most aspects of this ride go above and beyond, above almost anything else in the world. Absolute perfection from Vekoma. We have a couple more manufacturers to go, so I'm going to try and speed these up so we can get to the final rankings. For the Gravity Group, we have Voyage at Holiday World, my personal top bucket list coaster. A minute and a half of pure wooden coaster aggression mixed with some of the best pacing ever seen and some of the best terrain usage of any attraction ever. This is the ride I was talking about when I said Python might not be the Magnum Opus of all wooden coasters because Voyage is still a competitor for that title. Moving on from this, we have our final manufacturer, Intamin, the renowned top dog of all roller coaster manufacturers. I think almost everybody here knows what I want to say. However, sadly, I don't think I can choose T-Express, even if it's my number one, because to me, it's the perfect coaster. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like Intamin's perfect coaster, if that makes any sense. Intamin's perfect coaster has to have punchy inversions, crazy launches, decent to amazing theming, and unique elements. There's 4 coasters I'm looking at for this, and all are Intamin blitzes. Taiga at Linnenmaki, Gotham City Escape at Park Warner Madrid, Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure, and Toutitis at Park Asterix. All of these are basically perfect, and all of them either already do rank in my top 10 or are in my top 10 bucket list coasters. Every single one of these has reasons why they should beat out the rest, and it's a borderline impossible decision to make. However, my final conclusion for Intamin's Magnum Opus is Taiga at Linnenmaki in Helsinki, Finland. It may have the weakest theming of the 4 coasters in this conversation, but it has the best layout and arguably the best inversions as well. Taiga is quite possibly the closest to perfect coaster in the world. The world's Magnum Opus. It has those punchy airtime moments you need for a perfect coaster. It has world-class pacing, a stunning setting, solid theming, visually amazing trains, and a banger soundtrack. What more could you ask for? Sure, it's crazy, but this little carnival-esque park in Finland is home to the biggest manufacturer in the world's Magnum Opus. So there it is, all the major manufacturers I will be going over in this video. I've been talking about the final rankings for a while, so I'm just going to get right into it. Wait, oh my gosh, I just had a realization. I forgot B&M. I can't get into that, wait. Yeah, I can't get into that right now. Let's just get back to it. Coming in at last place, I have Fly. At the end of the day, every coaster in this video looks world class, but Fly doesn't quite look like it's up there with the rest of these. Next, I have Python at Bamboo Forest because for some reason, it's just really hard to get myself excited over coasters in China. I try to make a case for this coaster specifically just because how amazing it looks, but compared to the rest of these in Europe or America, it just can't quite get me as excited. Coming in at 4th, and before I say this, just remember I'm ranking these based on how close they are to being objectively perfect, I have Voyage. Probably the coaster on this list I would put at the top if we were just looking at how bad I want to ride it. But sadly, we're not doing that, so I have to put it in the lower half of the list. In 3rd, I put Hokuge. This coaster looks just amazing. It has all the ejector you could ever ask for. It has the length, it has the setting, it literally has almost everything. However, I said almost for a reason. considering this ride just doesn't look to quite meet the same level of intensity as these next two, and lands itself at the number 3 spot. Now for the last two. Which coaster is the Magnum Opus above everything else in the world? Well, to answer that question, we first need to talk about today's sponsor, Raid Shadow. Nah, I'm just kidding. Coming in at number 2 is Stardust Racers, my personal favorite roller coaster in the USA, and my second favorite across the whole world. It is something special. Probably my favorite coaster for airtime, my favorite element ever with the Celestial Spin, and just so much more I could yap about for hours on end. No doubt Stardust Racers is a perfect coaster, and no one can change my mind on that. So of course, that leaves just one, the Magnum Opus of coasters around the world, the perfect creation made by none other than Intamin. It's Taiga at Linnanmaki. I don't need to say that much more. Just look at this footage and you get why. Taiga is perfection at its peak, and there's no doubt about it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Express Thrills. Bye!